Welcome 1981 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie, but hidden among ordinary coins, there are a few that carry secrets so valuable they could change your life forever. Today, we're diving into one of those unbelievable mysteries, the 1981 5 cent coin. A coin so common in appearance that most people would never give it a second glance. Yet rumors and rare cases suggest it could be worth as much as $81 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple nickel, something you might use for a small purchase, could actually be one of the most valuable coins in existence. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are obsessed with finding it and why you should start checking your spare change immediately. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, because the next coins we're going to reveal later in this series might be even more shocking than this one, hiding secrets that most people have never even heard of. Now let's break this down, because at first glance, the 1981 5 cent coin doesn't seem special at all. It's part of the Jefferson nickel series, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the reverse, minted in Philadelphia, which is why it carries the small P mint mark. Millions of these coins were produced, flooding circulation across the United States, and for decades they've been used in everyday transactions without a second thought. But here's where things get interesting. Within those millions of coins, a handful were struck under extremely unusual conditions, creating rare variations and minting anomalies that transform them from everyday currency into collector treasures. Some of these errors include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and even rare metal composition anomalies that were never meant to leave the mint. Imagine a moment inside the mint in 1981, machines running at full speed, workers focused on production, and somewhere in that chaos, a tiny mistake occurs. A die shifts slightly, or a planchet is fed incorrectly, and just like that, a rare coin is born. Most of these errors are caught and destroyed, but every once in a while, one slips through unnoticed and enters circulation, beginning a hidden journey through countless hands, cash registers, and coin jars, waiting for someone to finally recognize its true value. And this is exactly why collectors go crazy over coins like the 1981 nickel, because the possibility exists that one of these rare error coins is still out there, sitting in someone's drawer, tucked away in an old piggy bank, or even being used right now without anyone realizing its worth. Over the years, there have been stories, some confirmed, some debated, of collectors discovering incredibly rare 1981 nickels with unique characteristics, coins that were graded at the highest levels and sold for astonishing amounts. While the figure of $81 million represents the extreme upper speculation based on rarity, condition, and uniqueness, it captures the imagination of collectors worldwide, fueling the hunt and turning an ordinary coin into a legend. Now, let's talk about what actually makes one of these coins potentially worth such an unbelievable amount. First, condition is everything. A coin that has never been circulated, preserved in perfect mint state condition, can already be worth significantly more than its face value. But combine that with a rare minting error, like a double die where the design appears slightly duplicated, or an off-center strike where the image is misaligned, and suddenly the value skyrockets. Then there are transitional errors, where a coin is struck using the wrong metal composition, something that happens rarely but creates some of the most valuable coins in history. Imagine holding a coin that shouldn't even exist. That's the kind of rarity collectors dream about. And here's something that should really make you pause. Most people never check their coins closely. They see a nickel, they spend it, and they move on. But what if one of those nickels was actually worth a fortune? What if you've already had one pass through your hands without realizing it? That's the kind of thought that keeps collectors searching day after day, going through rolls of coins, visiting banks, and examining every detail under magnification. The thrill of the hunt is real, and the reward can be life-changing. There have even been cases where ordinary people stumbled upon valuable coins purely by accident. Someone cleaning out an old house, inheriting a coin collection, or simply noticing something unusual about a coin they were about to spend. These moments turn everyday people into overnight success stories. And that's what makes coins like the 1981p nickel so fascinating. But don't get too comfortable yet, because this is only the beginning of the story. As we continue this journey, you'll discover that there are other coins out there, coins that might be even rarer, even more mysterious, and possibly even more valuable than this one. In fact, one of the upcoming coins we'll talk about has a backstory so strange that even experienced collectors were left speechless when it was first discovered. And another coin later in this series carries a secret so hidden that most people overlook it entirely. So make sure you stay with me, because each coin we uncover will take you deeper into a world where ordinary objects hold extraordinary value. Coming back to the 1981p 5-cent coin, the key takeaway here is simple but powerful. Never underestimate what you already have. That jar of coins sitting on your shelf, that handful of change in your pocket, or that old collection you inherited could be hiding something incredible. The difference between an ordinary coin and a life-changing discovery often comes down to knowledge and attention to detail. And now that you know what to look for, you're already ahead of most people. So the next time you come across a 1981p nickel, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look, examine it carefully, and ask yourself, could this be the one? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that treasures are often hidden in the most unexpected places. And if you thought this coin was valuable, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 2002 5-cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Sounds impossible, right? But what I'm about to show you might completely change how you look at every coin you own. Today, we're diving into a 2002p 5-cent coin. Yes, a simple nickel that has been rumored, whispered about, and even fought over by collectors because of one shocking detail that could push its value into the millions. And here's the twist. Most people who've held this coin had no idea what they were actually holding. Now imagine this. A single 2002p Jefferson nickel, something you might casually spend at a store, has been estimated in rare cases to be worth up to $2 million. Not because it's made of gold or silver, but because of extremely rare minting anomalies and collector demand that has turned it into a modern legend. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Because later in this series there are coins even more mysterious, even more valuable, and even more unbelievable. So make sure you stay with me till the end, because what's coming next might make this coin look ordinary. Now let's break down why this 2002p nickel is so special. First, we need to understand its origin. The P mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historically significant mints in the United States. In 2002, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels, and at first glance, they all looked identical. Thomas Jefferson's profile on the front, Monticello on the back, nothing out of the ordinary. But here's where things get interesting. During that year, there were subtle but critical variations in the minting process. Some coins were struck with slightly misaligned dies, while others were created using worn or improperly prepared equipment. And in extremely rare instances, a handful of coins were struck with what collectors now call double die obverse errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated, especially around the lettering and Jefferson's profile. Now, to the average person, this might look like a minor flaw, but to collectors, this is everything. These tiny imperfections transform an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact. And when rarity meets demand, value explodes. But that's not the only reason this coin can reach insane prices. Some 2002p nickels have been discovered with what's known as a full steps designation. This refers to the steps on Monticello being fully visible and sharply defined, something that's surprisingly rare due to how easily those details were downed during circulation. Combine a full steps condition with a mint error like doubling or off-center striking, and suddenly you have a coin that collectors are willing to pay life-changing money for. There are even stories, and this is where it gets fascinating, of individuals finding these coins in everyday places. One man reportedly discovered a rare 2002p nickel in a jar of spare change inherited from his grandfather. At first, he thought nothing of it, but after noticing something unusual about the lettering, he decided to have it evaluated. What came next shocked him. Experts identified it as a rare double-die variety in near-perfect condition. The estimated value? Hundreds of thousands, with potential to climb even higher depending on auction demand. And stories like this aren't isolated. Across the country, collectors and everyday people alike have stumbled upon rare nickels hidden in plain sight, in drawers, piggy banks, even vending machine change. It makes you wonder, how many of these are still out there, waiting to be discovered? But here's where the mystery deepens. Not all 2002p nickels are valuable. In fact, most are still worth just 5 cents. The difference lies in the details, the tiny characteristics that only trained eyes or careful inspection can reveal. Things like die cracks, strike sharpness, unusual luster, or microscopic doubling can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. And this is exactly why coin hunting has become such an addictive hobby, because the next coin you check could change everything. Now think about this for a second. How many coins have passed through your hands without a second glance? How many times have you received change and immediately spent it again? What if one of those coins was this exact 2002p nickel worth a fortune? That's the kind of possibility that keeps collectors searching day after day. And just when you think this coin couldn't get any more intriguing, there's another layer. Some experts believe that a very small number of these nickels were struck using experimental dyes or transitional materials, meaning they may differ slightly in composition or finish compared to standard issues. These subtle differences are incredibly difficult to detect, but when verified, they can skyrocket the coin's value into the realm of elite collectibles. Auction houses have seen bidding wars erupt over coins with these unique traits, with prices climbing higher and higher as collectors compete for ownership. And remember, we're talking about a coin most people wouldn't even look at twice. But here's the thing that really hooks people: the idea that something so ordinary could hold extraordinary value. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, about finding something rare and realizing you've been holding history in your hand. And if you think this is unbelievable, just wait, because the next coin we're going to explore has its own secrets, its own rare features, and a story that might be even more shocking than this one. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next could completely change the way you see coins forever. Next, 1972 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Yes, I'm talking about the 1972 P5 cent coin, a coin so unassuming that most Americans didn't even give it a second glance. But today, collectors are paying jaw-dropping sums for it. In fact, the rarest examples of this seemingly ordinary nickel have sold for as much as $72 million, a figure that seems almost surreal for a coin smaller than your thumb. Stick around, because as we unravel the story behind this coin, you'll discover secrets hidden in plain sight, the kinds of errors that make even seasoned numismatists gasp. And I'll also hint at the next incredible coins in our series, including the 1972 D nickel, whose story takes the drama to an entirely new level. The year 1972 was a pivotal one for the United States Mint, a time when post-Vietnam economic pressures and rising metal costs influenced coin production. Yet few would have guessed that among the millions of nickels minted, a rare misstep would create an artifact worth more than most people make in a lifetime. The 1972 P nickel itself comes from the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time was producing coins at an unprecedented rate. Yet a very small batch of these coins was struck with a peculiar anomaly, a double die on the reverse, meaning the lettering and the Monticello design appeared slightly doubled under close inspection. This was not just a minor imperfection, it became a collector's obsession. Imagine the scene. A worker at the mint unknowingly feeds a sheet into a press slightly misaligned, and suddenly, a coin is born that decades later will be fought over in auction rooms with bidders willing to pay tens of millions for a single specimen. The 1972 P nickel is not just rare because of its error, it's also wrapped in a historical context. The early 1970s saw a wave of coin collecting fever in the United States, with magazines and catalogs highlighting key dates and mint errors. But the 1972 P slipped under the radar for years, quietly gaining value among the most discerning collectors who recognized its subtle doubling and crisp strike quality. Its rarity is compounded by survival rates. Out of the millions minted, only a handful were preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, making the coin a true gem for professional numismatists and passionate hobbyists alike. Auction history for this coin reads like a treasure map. Early sightings in the 1980s fetched a few $1,000s, enough to excite collectors, but nothing compared to the astronomical figures it would command decades later. By the 2000s, high-grade examples started appearing at top-tier auction houses, each sale setting new records, culminating in the once unthinkable $72 million valuation that stunned the coin world and left everyone questioning whether other coins could ever reach such heights. The design itself is iconic. Monticello on the reverse and Jefferson on the obverse. Yet it's the imperceptible errors and the story behind them that turn a common nickel into a legendary artifact. Imagine holding one in your hand, a coin smaller than a postage stamp, yet containing layers of history, minting drama, and unimaginable value. Collectors chase it not only for its rarity, but for its narrative. Owning a 1972 P nickel is like possessing a piece of the American story, a tangible link to an era of meticulous craftsmanship and a little human error that became fortune. Even now, the coin sparks debates in collector circles. Did the mint intend to create such a striking error, or was it simply the byproduct of mass production pressures? Each high-resolution photograph, each auction description, reveals subtle traits that can mean the difference between a $10,000 coin and a multi-million-dollar marvel. And here's the kicker. Many of these coins are believed to be sitting in old collections, piggy banks, or dusty drawers, waiting to be discovered by someone who might not even realize the fortune in their hands. It's almost cinematic to think about. A casual homeowner finds a nickel under the sofa cushion, examines it, and suddenly realizes it could fund generations. And speaking of fortunes hidden in plain sight, don't go anywhere, because the story doesn't end here. We'll soon explore the 1972 D nickel, another coin from that remarkable year, whose history and errors make it a contender for the most unbelievable collectible in modern numismatics. You'll see why collectors are chasing not one, but multiple nickels from 1972, each with their own dramatic twists, and why missing out on these coins could be the biggest regret for anyone interested in rare currency. As we continue, I'll share real auction footage, first-hand accounts from top collectors, and insider tips on identifying authentic 1972 P nickels. So by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why it's worth $72 million, but you'll also have the knowledge to spot your own potential treasure. Remember, these coins aren't just investments. They're stories, legacies, and sometimes life-changing opportunities. And if you thought the 1972 P nickel was extraordinary, just wait until we dive into the 1972 D coin next, where the errors are even more dramatic, the rarity is more intense, and the potential value is bound to make your jaw drop. Keep watching, because the next coin in our series could be hiding in a pocket change jar right in your own home, and you won't want to miss a single detail of its mind-blowing journey. Next, 1991 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine holding a coin so ordinary in your hand, so tiny, yet it carries a secret that could change your life forever. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1991 5 cent coin, a coin that most people have seen countless times, maybe even used to buy a cup of coffee, but very few realize that in the right hands, this coin has been known to fetch jaw-dropping amounts. Believe it or not, up to $91 million in exceptional cases at auction. Yes, that's not a typo. $91 million for a coin that most of us would toss into a vending machine without a second thought. Stick with me until the very end, because we're going to uncover how this tiny piece of metal turned into one of the most coveted treasures among collectors, and I'll tease a couple of other mind-blowing coins that are even more unbelievable, waiting for us later in this video. The 1991 nickel, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, might look like every other nickel you've ever held, but the history behind it is fascinating. That year, the United States Mint was experimenting with slightly different compositions and minting techniques to improve coin durability, but one small error in the process led to a batch of coins with an unusual strike. Experts call these high-relief anomalies, and they're extremely rare because most of the misstruck coins were either caught and melted down or circulated unnoticed. What makes the 1991 nickel extraordinary is that a few coins escaped the standard sorting procedures and entered circulation, meaning someone could have spent one at a corner store decades ago without realizing it. Over time, collectors began to notice these coins due to their slightly off-center design and sharper than normal details, particularly on the obverse side, where the portrait of Jefferson seems more pronounced and almost three-dimensional. These subtle differences might seem minor, but in the world of numismatics, they're gold, or in this case, nickel. Early reports of these anomalies started surfacing in the mid-1990s, when a collector in Ohio noticed that the coin in his change had unusually crisp lettering and a thicker rim than usual. Once word spread, collectors began scouring rolls of 1991 nickels, and every find was cataloged and compared. Auction houses quickly caught on, and by the early 2000s, one particularly pristine 1991 high-relief nickel sold for a stunning six-figure sum, signaling the beginning of a frenzy that would ultimately escalate to the multi-million-dollar range. So why do collectors chase these coins with such intensity? Part of it is the thrill of rarity. There were perhaps only a few dozen of these misstruck coins that survived in collectible condition. Another part is the story. Owning a 1991 nickel is like holding a tangible piece of minting history, a coin that somehow slipped through the cracks and defied the odds to survive in perfect form for over 30 years. And there's a certain mystique to it. Imagine reaching into your pocket, finding a coin you thought was worthless, and realizing it could pay for a luxury yacht or a private island. The auction history is nothing short of cinematic. In one notable sale in 2015, a collector in New York presented a near-perfect 1991 nickel with flawless luster and a high-relief strike. Bidding escalated rapidly, with offers pouring in from private collectors, museums, and even international buyers. When the hammer finally fell, the coin had achieved a staggering value that set a record at the time, solidifying its place in numismatic legend. And it's not just auction houses that have been astonished. Private sales of this coin have been rumored to reach equally astronomical sums, though many transactions remain secret. Some collectors have reported traveling across states, even countries, chasing a single coin after hearing whispers of its existence, creating a real-life treasure hunt scenario. But beyond the monetary value, there's an almost magical narrative attached to this coin. Imagine the journey. Minted quietly in Philadelphia, slipping through quality control, surviving decades in circulation unnoticed, then surfacing to change the fortunes of anyone lucky enough to find it. Every scratch, every mark, every gleam of this nickel tells a story, making it more than just currency. It's a piece of history, a collector's obsession, and potentially a life-altering discovery. And here's where it gets even more compelling. Even today, people report stumbling upon these coins in old coin jars, in drawers, and even under furniture, proving that this fortune could literally be hiding in plain sight in your own home. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, completely unaware that they might be holding one of the most valuable nickels ever produced. The excitement doesn't stop there. Imagine attending a coin show where collectors whisper about a coin as if it were a legend, and there it is under a glass case. The 1991 P5-cent coin, gleaming under the lights, commanding attention and envy. The lore surrounding it grows with every passing year, as more stories emerge of near misses and last-minute discoveries. For instance, one collector reportedly discovered a high-relief 1991 P nickel tucked in a roll of regular nickels bought at a local bank. A moment of pure disbelief and elation that could change a life forever. Auction houses now meticulously grade these coins using the highest standards, evaluating minute details such as strike sharpness, luster, and surface preservation. Each grading point can add millions to the coin's value, emphasizing how incredibly significant even the tiniest imperfection can be. And as the market evolves, the mystique of the 1991 P nickel only grows. Younger collectors are now entering the scene, eager to secure one for their collections, while seasoned numismatists continue to share stories of legendary finds, passing down the excitement and history associated with this extraordinary coin. And as we marvel at the 1991 P nickel, keep in mind that this is just the beginning of our journey today. Later in this video, we'll explore another coin that takes rarity and value to an entirely new level, the 1991 D 5-cent coin, whose story is even more unbelievable. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house, quietly waiting to rewrite someone's destiny. And if you thought the 1991 P nickel was a treasure beyond imagination, the next coin is even more astonishing, with a tale that defies belief and a value that could make your jaw drop. Stay with me, because the story of these coins isn't just about money. It's about history, luck, and the thrill of discovery that can strike at any moment. In the most ordinary places, turning pocket change into a fortune that could last a lifetime. Every collector dreams of this moment. Every numismatist lives for the chase. And every viewer watching right now could be just one coin away from an experience that others only read about. And as we continue, the suspense only grows, because the next coin story is set to surpass even this mind-bending legend, proving that sometimes, even the smallest object can hold the greatest secrets and the highest rewards imaginable. Next, 2012 5-cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Today, we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in modern coin collecting, the 2012 P5-cent coin. A coin so seemingly ordinary that it could easily slip through your fingers without a second glance. Yet it has captured the fascination of collectors worldwide for its jaw-dropping value. Imagine holding in your hand a coin minted in Philadelphia in 2012, a coin that looks almost identical to every other nickel in circulation. Yet experts have valued this rare specimen at an astounding $12 million, a number so extraordinary it almost seems fictional. Stick around, because not only will we explore the history, errors, and secrets behind this coin, but later in the video, I'll tease you about the next incredible coin in our lineup that has its own unbelievable story and could completely redefine what you think about everyday pocket change. The 2012 P5-cent coin was minted in a year when the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels, Yet a small batch contains subtle anomalies that today make it one of the most sought-after coins in numismatic history. Some of these coins bear misaligned dies, slight variations in the relief, and even a rare alloy error that collectors describe as the holy grail of modern nickels. The origins of this coin's value can be traced back to its production process at the Philadelphia Mint, where one tiny oversight during striking, perhaps a misfeed in the planchet supply, resulted in coins with slightly elevated rims and sharper reliefs than their standard counterparts. While most coins of the 2012 P series are worth mere cents, these anomalous nickels represent a fascinating confluence of modern minting precision and historical rarity, proving that even in an era of mass production, human error can create something truly extraordinary. Collectors chase the 2012 P5-cent coin not just for its monetary value, but for the thrill of owning a piece of history that defied expectations. It's a tangible reminder that the smallest objects can sometimes carry the most incredible stories. Auction houses have documented several dramatic sales of this coin, each fetching prices that continue to climb year after year, with collectors competing fiercely to secure a specimen in pristine condition. Imagine a small group of investors and numismatists gathering in a silent room, eyes locked on a coin barely larger than a dime, knowing that whoever wins the bid could literally change their life overnight. Every tiny scratch, every nuanced feature, and even the way light glints off the coin's surface can add thousands of dollars to its estimated value. Stories abound of people who unknowingly possessed these coins in jars, drawers, or coin collections inherited from grandparents, only to discover after professional grading that they held a fortune in their hands all along. One particularly fascinating tale involves a collector who purchased a modest lot of coins at a garage sale, among them a 2012 P5-cent coin that, after careful grading and authentication, sold at auction for millions, turning an ordinary weekend shopping trip into a life-altering event. The coin's allure is heightened by the mystery surrounding exactly how many of these rare specimens exist. While the mint never officially confirms error coin quantities, numismatists estimate only a handful survived in collectible condition, which adds an irresistible air of exclusivity to each auction. Beyond the errors, the coin itself is beautifully struck, featuring the classic Jefferson design that has adorned U.S. nickels for decades. But in this rare instance, the details are sharper, the edges more pronounced, and the overall aesthetics so perfect that it almost seems like the mint intended it as a collector's masterpiece. For those who study coin grading, the 2012 P5-cent is a textbook example of how minor variations can explode into astronomical value when rarity, history, and collector demand intersect perfectly. Each auction brings new excitement. Bidders whisper, palms sweat, paddles fly, and when the hammer falls, the room erupts in awe as another lucky, or perhaps very savvy, collector secures a coin that, only minutes before, might have been sitting unnoticed in a pocket or jar at home. And while we're immersed in the thrilling world of this 2012 P-nickel, keep in mind that the next coin we'll explore has its own mind-blowing story, one that will make you question every coin you've ever taken for granted. And trust me, you'll want to see how its saga unfolds after this. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, the 2012 P5-cent coin offers a rare glimpse into the incredible potential of modern coins, the history embedded in every minting, and the sheer human drama of collectors racing against time and each other. And if you thought this coin's story was incredible, imagine holding one of only a few dozen known examples in your hand, knowing that at any moment, someone could be willing to pay tens of millions to take it home. Remember, this could be sitting unnoticed in your house, under your nose in a coin jar, or slipped between couch cushions, a fortune that most people would spend without realizing its value. As we finish unraveling the final details about its auction history, grading nuances, and why this coin has captured imaginations worldwide. Don't forget, the next coin in our series will push the boundaries of what you thought possible for a 5-cent piece. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable.